Welcome back to the Cinema Crew for our point of view. And we're here to talk about Power. Power Book 2, the season finale, and also Power Book 4, Force, which started last night. I'm back with another Cinema Crew for Power. We're going to do these episodes every week. Maybe not next week for the Super Bowl, but after that, every week. And the crew for this, we might even add to it. Of course, I got my guy E Money. What's going on, E?
What up? What's up? What up? What's going on?
And a new member to the Cinema Crew, Michelle. What's up?
So, baby.
Hey. All right, man. So listen, I don't know about how your love of Power is. I know about Michelle. We've been watching the show for years to talk about it. So I don't know about you, E. How you been watching all the Powers and BMF?
Yeah, I've seen all of them. Right.
Okay. All right. What's your favorite one so far?
I'm still a Ghost fan, man. Like Ghost is my boy.
So the original one, your favorite one?
Yeah, the original.
All right. Besides the original, out of the new ones, out of 3, 4, no, yeah. Well, 4 just came out, but 2, 3, and BMF. What's your favorite one?
Well, to me, this one just started getting good. 2 started getting good. I don't know. I like BMF too, though. BMF is real good. I was shocked with BMF. BMF threw me for a curveball.
What's your favorite right now?
That. Yeah, I like BMF more.
What about you, Michelle? If I say 2, 3, and BMF, what would be your favorite so far?
I would say 2. I would say 2. Seeing the evolution of Tariq's character and how he's become Ghost, like, shit is real. It's really real.
I don't like that.
Okay. And I had the reason I asked this question, I had the same conversation, same question they asked me at the barbershop yesterday. So I was like, that's a good question. So I had to think about it. But for me, it's either between BMF or Kanan. I like Raising Kanan, man.
Yeah, Kanan too.
So I think I'm going to go with that. Only because I love that time frame, that 90s era, the music, the clothes. Like, I think it's just dope, stuff like that. So, and to see, like, where the uncles on that show. So I'm going to go with that. Mm-hmm. Last night was the actual they did us dirty, man. They had the finale, then they had the premiere. I saw your post, Michelle, about having to watch 2 of them.
Right. Had to watch 2 joints.
Yeah. Then he had to be up early for another show this morning, so it'd be a lot, man. But the finale, man, like, what was your overall thoughts of the finale before I get into each scene?
The finale shocked me. Actually, it really did. It shocked me. A lot of things threw me off. Even in the finale, it threw me off. Like, I knew a lot of people were going to be doing. Like, I could really talk about it, or is this just an
overview? Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So overall, a lot of it threw me off, and some people got disposed real easily.
That's true. All right, what about you, Michelle? Did it deliver for you? Did it shock you? Deliver? What do you think about it?
It definitely shocked me. I did not see that coming at all. I feel like it touches back to Raina. The good ones always get got.
Yeah,
and,
right.
It really took me for a loop. But they left us with enough to build off of and see where they could go in season 3. So I'm excited.
You know what? To your earlier point, like at the beginning of the book 2, it was like a slow build, but now book 2 be hitting. Like, it's like every week. It's like almost like book 1 was. It's like a lot of twists and turns, and it's like you don't know what's gonna happen. And now you kind of like got used to all the characters on there, And we'll get into like the book 4 later on of it all, because I feel like that show will have a slow build too. As I was watching it, I'm starting to see the differences. But back to the book 2 finale, because we want to wrap this up before we can really get into book 4. So we do kind of start with Mecca and Monet on the boat and stuff like that, and Monet doing some good acting, I guess, to Mecca. He giving her the gifts and stuff like that, but he's saying to her like, but killing Lorenzo, and she like, what the hell you mean you're not gonna kill Lorenzo? So then he like, we should have Kane do it and stuff. And he explained why Kane should do it, and then she's like, all right, I control my son, I'll go get him to do it and stuff. So when he kind of flipped the script, and said Kane should do it, what do you think about that at that point?
I figured he was going to do that. I figured he was too smart to fall like just go straight head first at Lorenzo.
Right.
Like you know what I mean? Like I felt like he was too smart for that. So when he said that, it made sense. The part that really messed me up was Kane's reaction too, like the way Kane reacted to the whole thing. Like that's why Kane's a little goon. He's a little goon, but I think like and then
So what you mean? You thought he'd be more forward right away? Or what you
yeah, yeah. I thought he was gonna be on some like knowing how he hates Tariq so damn much. Like you would feel like he's trying to be colder. He wants to be stronger in every single way, every form. But he's not. He's not. He got a weakness.
Michelle, how'd you feel about Monet and Mecca, and then her bringing it to Kane, and how that whole thing went down?
I think to piggyback on your point, E, because when she used Tariq to convince Kane to do it, that showed his weakness right there.
Right there.
He never wanted to feel like Tariq had one up on him when it came to his family and taking orders from Monet. So he had that more conflict. Like, how can you ask me to kill my dad? Like, even though dad picked Drew for the family business and all that, he still felt an entitlement to his dad and the family business. But he did not like the fact that Monet threw, where Tariq at? I need Tariq in this situation. So,
right.
she knew what to do to get him to agree to it. But
I know.
And
he's so dumb because
right.
at that moment, Tariq still had an ankle bracelet on and was like still on trial. And she like, where Tariq at? Like, he's so dumb. He knows he got an ankle bracelet on. Like, come on, bro. Like, he fell for a hook, line, and sinker. I'm like, come on.
Right. Every time, man.
And then when she said that Tariq killed his own dad, he was like, what? He killed his dad?
Yeah, yeah. Like,
I can do this. I can do this.
Right.
I said, look, there you go, right there. That's his downfall again. Oh, he did? Yeah, he did.
And the bad part is, like, Tariq lived in Kane's mind rent free. Like, he loves thinking about Tariq all the time. But on the opposite side, Tariq don't care nothing about Kane.
Nothing.
Yeah, like
he just know he got to watch that man.
They don't think about Kane. He ain't worried about Kane. Like, I think he's smarter than Kane too. That's another part of it too. I really yeah. So, Mecca, and then also they, had to talk about Zeke at that time too. So we get this scene. I might go out of order, but we get the scene with Mecca and Zeke at the hangar. Him trying to, I guess, get him to come with him on the plane, try to get that fatherly bond going, giving Zeke the car and stuff like that, but telling him that you could trust Monet. But then Zeke asked him again, like, "Yo, you said she was with you that night that Carrie died," and he straight up lied to his face at that particular time.
Yeah.
But then he said, think about it, be on the plane. So, how you felt about that whole scene with him and Zeke and Becca at the time?
I mean, I think he knows that Zeke's a little slow. He's a little touched. So, and you know what? It just shows like Mecca's loyalty to Monet. You get what I'm saying? Like, no matter what, he's still like, listen to Monet. She got you. Monet do anything for you. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
So that was terrible, but showing Zeke the the jet and the sports cars, that was smart. That was smart. Gave him a little taste of like, listen, you ain't getting that NBA money, but we still got it. So
did you think Michelle Zeke was still a little skeptical at that moment that Michelle Monet had something to do with it? Carrie's death?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And going back to the hangar, Mecca was trying to lure him in with the flashy stuff. What 19-year-old kid
right
wouldn't
give up sports cars.
But later on in the episode we saw where Zeke still had that I don't know type moment, and I don't want to jump ahead, but Mecca's obsessed with
right.
The comments, yeah. Yeah. We'll definitely get there, actually. But I agree with that too. I guess Mecca was. I mean, the shiny stuff. I guess to try to lure him in, but Zeke is at that time in a bad place, though. He just found out so much information,
right?
And then he found that out, and his, I guess, quote unquote girlfriend died or killed herself or whatever. But I still want to know how the hell Monet made it look like a suicide. Like,
Right.
who the hell is she? Like James Bond? I don't know how
Jack
she
the
did this
Ripper.
Right.
There's something we don't know about her yet, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
And the
so,
question is, like, are they going to dive into that?
Probably.
I think
Probably,
what his name? White detective dude. Now that he know that because
right.
she was at the traffic cam, we'll
Right.
get to that, of course. But I think he's gonna dive into it, a little later and stuff.
Well,
He has a vested interest too.
Right.
Right.
He was one of her many minutes.
Yeah. He was inside that cookie jar. He was in there.
Y'all were. You saw how later on Davis was like, "Yeah, I had a strong relationship with her." So,
right.
Yeah, he said, Zach, I told you.
Right.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, speaking of that, then we get go to Tariq waking up with Effie, and then he's calling for Lauren, and she ain't answering the phone. And then Effie waking up and like, who you calling? He lies, obviously. But then he does say, I'm worried about Lauren answering the phone. And Effie's continuing to lie about what happened to Effie. And then he asks Effie, if something do happen to me in court, could you go look after a fine Yaz for me and stuff like that. Knowing that, what happened and stuff like that. Now, we don't know what happened to Lauren at this point. When you're watching this scene, like, what are your thoughts, Michelle? I'm going to switch it up to something, Michelle, on Tariq and Effie in that scene together.
I don't think that he suspected Effie of having any involvement at that time.
Okay.
But he also set it up to the point where Lauren was supposed to leave and not look back. So she following script, even though he wants her to answer the phone. He wants to check on her and see where she at, if she's safe. And also in his mind, he left Braden in charge.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not thinking any negative actions at this point. And you know what happens later in the episode when he finds out. But I don't think at that point he was thinking that Effie had any involvement in it, because she wasn't supposed to be a part of that timeline anyway. She put herself in that shit.
Right.
Yeah. Thankfully, I guess. What do you think about him and Effie?
I mean, like, for real, I feel like Tariq should be smarter than that. Effie already crossed him, you know what I mean? So, like, a couple of times, too, at that. So,
listen.
Again, man.
Listen, the power of the PUSSY,
bro.
Every time, bro.
Every time. But you forgot what Braden said. Every time I come up in here, light some candles or something. It smells funny in here.
Yeah.
He's saying she ain't right.
Listen, bro, Effie's bad. I'm sorry to say. So I feel Tariq on some real stuff.
She a G though. She a G. I gotta give her that. She a G.
Yeah. Like the way they made her character, like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, she definitely a G.
So Tariq though, he actually does, go to court and stuff like that, talking to Davis and Sachs. And then, come to find out that, Davis found out that she gonna use Trace at the time. So we know from the audience point of view that we knew about that already, but Tariq didn't know. So then they asked him, what would Trace know? Tariq told him about the whole thing with Kane and Trace and Braden. And then, he says, I love this part. He says, where were you at? He says, well, I was with your niece. Well, she was trying to pin me down and stuff like that. And then Sachs is like, God damn it. Like that. So then Davis is like, yo, you got to use your niece. You don't want to put her into it. I thought his niece was going to show up actually after all that stuff like that happened.
Yeah.
But then she doesn't. And then, he kind of asks Davis, he was like, Kane going to try to use the fact that he put the police badge in my room. And then Davis like knew about it. Like, I know. And then he's like, how long you do this? Or whatever like that. So whole dynamic with Davis, Sachs, and Tariq in that scene. What do you think about that, bro?
Man, I like how see, Davis be on his toes. He's smart, man. Tariq can't be mad that the lawyer is smart and he get into the bag. That's just what it is.
Right.
And he got to get over that part. But as far as what was it?
The niece.
Yeah, the niece. Yeah. So the niece. I remember the niece didn't show up. So why didn't the niece show up though?
They ain't either. at that point.
They didn't need her at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what do you think about that whole interaction, Michelle? Between those three.
It just goes to show how quick on his feet Tariq is. You know, he knew he would need an alibi in that situation, and he was like, "This is where I was. I had nothing to do with that." But you know, he put it to the point where if I need to prove where I was, this is who it is. That's your niece. Go get her. But you know what I'm saying? The lawyer guy, he was like, "Nah, let's just move on." So I think Tariq knows what he's doing, and that's how we see his character evolve more into more who Ghost is or Ghost was.
Yeah. And he figured out Davis Ben knew about Kane. That really did too. So I think Tariq be knowing
that
stuff.
was good.
Yeah. And then they actually go to court, and then Jenny pulls the okie doke, and they think it's Trace, but it's not. And all of a sudden, it's Braden coming in.
Right.
At this point, Braden walking, looking with his head down. Tariq got his head down. Saxon him like, "What the fuck?" Blah. He go to the to the stand. As an audience member, I'm sure we're like, "Oh shit, Braden, what you about to do?" or whatever. But he go up there, and Braden done told them, "Listen, I was the one who ran course correct. Tariq is not a drug dealer, you know." And she like, "How can you prove it?" He got the paperwork that Tariq Ben had him sign months ago. At this point, that say he had a course correct. Threw it all in Jenny's face. To wrap it up, case got dismissed and everything like that.
Love that part.
How'd y'all feel about Brayton in that scene and what happened in the courtroom when the case get dismissed? Let's go to Michelle.
Go ahead.
That was smart because remember the episode before that when they were at Braden's house, he said, "All right, we'll testify if we get double immunity."
Right.
So whatever Braden said, all right, I could confess. You can't do nothing to me.
Right.
And at that point, I think he knew, all right, yeah, Trace can get on the stand and say X, Y, Z. But if I go on the stand and say this is me, I'm the head one in charge. Y'all can't touch me after I say what I say because I have immunity. That totally lets my boy off the hook. And once he brought the evidence that it was him, Jenny had nothing to stand on. So I think it was a smart move on Braden's behalf. And also, he looking after his boy too. So, if you want to say this is the Tommy effect, sure.
Right. That's how I feel.
Were you, Michelle, were you surprised? Or did you think Braden was going to flip when he first walked in? Or what did you think at that point?
I didn't think he was going to flip because Braden been 10 toes down ever since. I didn't think he was going to flip. If anything, he was going to pull a tape move and get up there and try to, sashay and say something to deter them from putting more on Tariq. But I didn't think he was going there and say, yeah, Tariq did this, I witnessed this, I saw that. So I knew he was going to come in there and say something on the lines of pushing it to a motion for dismissal, but he came in correct. So Braden's an OG, triple OG.
Right, Braden is a G. That's my boy. He did some real G shit. I knew he wasn't going to flip when he came there. I didn't know he was going to own up to all of that, but I didn't know I had a feeling he wasn't going to flip or say nothing. But I love the fact that he had her with the course correct stuff, and he knew his privilege. He knew he knew what kind of power he had. He knew what kind of power he had when he was sitting at the table with the lawyer and them, and they was talking to him, and he was like, "Man, listen." And see, this is what makes her dumb. She mad at everybody, but it's her fault. She dumb. She knew he was ride or die. She asked him a couple of times, and he was like, "Man, I'm not saying nothing."
Right.
So what was she thinking in the first place? What she thought was going to happen?
Yeah. And Josh is watching. It says, Michelle's hat is fly. What's good, Josh?
Thank you, Josh.
All right. So yeah, you're right about that. They got the dismissal, and then Sachs for some reason tried to push up on Jenny at that moment. I don't know why he was
cornball move. I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah.
She said nope.
Yeah. After she just got humiliated like that, why would you even say anything to her in the first place? I wouldn't even looked at her.
And you was part of the squad that humiliated her, like
yeah. So I would have just been like,
right, exactly. But then we get another scene with Tariq and Davis. Davis celebrating the course. He got off and whatnot. Tariq is, he like, "I'm off, man, but you knew some stuff you ain't tell me," and stuff like that. And actually, Braden the one got me off. You really ain't do much for me. So I need some money back and whatnot. And Tariq even know the law at that point that he even get money back. But he like, Davis is like, "Well, listen, if you implicate me, you go down. How far you want to take this?" Which is smart too on his behalf. But what's interesting is Davis is like, "Man, you want to keep hustling because Davis want these cases and stuff like that.
Right.
So Tariq like, nah, I want out, and Davis like, nah, man, you need to keep hustling. Get that money.
You want to keep hustling.
Yeah. So then and he says a line. He says, "You think Tejada's really gonna let you out at this point?" And then of course we get Tariq saying, he's want to get his sister, and then him saying that after this you could be a lawyer. Tariq is like, man, lawyers, hell no. So hey, how you felt about that whole back and forth with Davis and Tariq at that point, man?
I liked it. Again, like she said, it showed Tariq's growth to even be able to keep up with Davis like that, to know what he's doing, to check him too, to check him and let him know, like, yeah, I know my laws, like, and I want my money back, I want my bread. You ain't do it. My boy did it. My boy got me off. But he was right. You know what I mean? Like he did do a lot. He as his lawyer, he still kept him. He kept him pretty good. Kept him out of jail anyway. So I think he did a lot besides what Brady did.
I don't think so, bro. I think
Tariq
did his own kid. First of all, it was Tate who got him out of jail the first time, right?
Oh,
it's Tariq when it got Tate.
Yeah,
it was Tariq who had Milgram testify because he switched that up. What Davis, and that helped him out. And then with Braden, they got him off. Whatever, like Tariq pretty much.
So what did he need to? Oh man! What did he need him for?
Michelle, we think about that back and forth, and also the part of Davis trying to like just keep pushing him to keep hustling and stuff like that. How you feel about that?
Again, Tariq is smart, and Davis knows that, but Davis also knows the type of person Tariq is. As we see later on, it's not over no time soon.
Right.
And Tariq is going to need Davis in the near future, and Davis is going to need Tariq. So, like I said, keep hustling because you're going to need me. And the fact that he said, when it comes down to if you say something about Kane, you implicating yourself in all this.
Right.
So you're not going to go to the board and snitch on my name. He asked for the money, but it is what it is.
Right.
And he said, well, there's no such thing as a decent lawyer. That's facts. We know
right.
that. So if you're gonna do business with the devil, you gotta know what you're getting yourself into.
Right.
Right.
So,
but yeah, Tariq is smart. He knew from the beginning that Lawyer Dewitt had nothing to really do to help him get off his case, but he need representation anyway.
Yeah, he got representation. Yeah. But but he definitely
pulled the strings himself.
Yeah, he did. He really did. Like
he really did. Now that you broke it down like that, hell yeah.
Yeah, he the one who got Tate to come get him first. And then like speaking of Tate, let's go to his scene real quick. I don't know what to say in the show, but Tate's like done with all of them at this point. Tate done got what he wanted, and he good.
Yeah, he good.
So we see Tate with the DNC representative. What do we see Tate first? We see the DNC representative with Sweeney, and then he bring the picture to Sweeney. Sweeney like, where you get this? Don't really matter. And then Tate pull up, pop a bottle. He happy as hell. And he like, when you gonna step down? Sweeney tried to hold his ground. I'm like, listen, you get what you want, but I ain't stepping down. And then they finally get him to say, he'll step down and endorse Tate, and then Tate's will endorse him maybe 6 months later. And you see the power of the DNC. We saw a lot of that in book one, the DNC and the whole political aspect. But now we see Tate and him getting what he wants. And then I'll even fast forward it so we can wrap that up all the way. And we see later on that he says, when I get the seat to Kamal, after who he screwed over, that I want to, you can be my head of security.
Head of security, right.
So Kamal seemed mad, but still he's going to take the job. So just to put a bow on the whole Tate situation, how you felt about him, getting what he wanted, and then the part with him and his brother, Michelle, what do you think about the whole thing?
Going back to the original series, we always see that Tate going to do what Tate need to do to get where Tate want to be at.
Yeah.
And, when Jabari died, he was like, all right, this is my time to shine. He got that position, and he knew he needed to get a certain amount of information to get Sweeney unseated. So, he held his guns, he held Tariq to the fire. He's like, yo, I got your ass off the hook. What are you going to do for me? He got that photo, and he said, all right, it's no holds bars now. Because, I wasn't a gambler. Like, is he going to get the photo? Is he not going to get the photo? And he did exactly what he needed to do to get where he's at. So, he took his brother under with him, but, I don't think he would have left his brother hanging if he made a move like that. So, he offered the position. Is Kamal going to take it? Put your pride to the side, bro.
I got one of my favorite lines.
Okay.
There's no such thing as a decent politician. So they're
You're
all going to
right.
do what they
That
got to do to get what they want, and this is a clear depiction of it. And Tate's characterization in this purely shows us that it's a dog eat dog world when it comes to politics.
Yep.
Yeah, it starts to really make you think how many people in positions that we see, but how do they get those positions that we don't know in the background, right? Like in the regular world and stuff like that. Like we got all these councilmen and state senators and governors and all this other stuff. We don't know how they really got these jobs. What kind of deals going on? So it's very interesting.
Right.
But
Go
go ahead. No, go
No,
ahead.
I was just saying, I love that line. You ain't find the black male. What about black face, motherfucker? Like, yeah, I was like, yeah. That was smooth, man. That was smooth. And Tate, like you said, but Tate's dangerous, man. Tate for real is dangerous. When he got a plan, he be really executing a lot of stuff. Like, you know what I mean? But you know what? I didn't understand why he threw his brother under the bus like that. Was that just
He
to get
had
him to work for him?
Nah, he had to do
Okay.
that to help Tariq get off to get the picture that he wanted and stuff like that.
All right.
So his brother was collateral damage, basically.
Yeah, straight up. Like,
because remember, they were trying to say that Tariq was the sole killer, but if he pointed to the fact that there was a witness that said there was two guys at the scene. So now that puts more evidence into exploration, and it makes Jenny's case, fall through.
Yep.
And that's exactly what it did. So in that way, it got Tariq off the hook in that sense, but it threw Kamal under the bus because he provided Tate with that information.
Right.
So I think what's going to happen is that they'll actually make that Power Book 5 influence. I think that and Tate and both Tate's going to be on there. I think Kamal will take the job and work for him and stuff like that. And we'll see the DNC person and maybe bring Ramona back, from book 1. I could definitely see that. I can see that happening like that. So that's my prediction and stuff. So I never liked Ramona though, but yeah. But so that wraps up Tate. I don't think he'll really interact with this cast too much anymore. So now we get we know that Monet already done told Kane he want to killing him, but then we get Monet. Monet is like a master. She's like a Geppetto. She's like a puppeteer in this whole thing, right? So we get her, and she goes to the bar to talk to Lorenzo, and then she's telling Lorenzo, part of the plan. So she tells him the whole plan actually, so that she want to get rid of Mecca and stuff. And then she used the fact that she said, "Do you believe that I would ever try to hurt my kids?" And he was like, "Whatever we've been through, you always put the kids first." So I definitely believe that stuff. So she knows how to get emotions out of people and stuff like that. So she tells Lorenzo the plan and everything like that. And of course, Kane can't know the plan. It's amazing to me that everybody knows the plan, but Kane too, by the way. So but Lorenzo does go along with it. And then following that scene, he goes and talks to Drew and Diana. And Diana, she get on my nerves, Diana. But Diana, like, she kind of like, you don't believe Monet? She ain't kind of for it or whatever. But then Drew, like, all right, I got it. I'm gonna holler at Tariq and get the information from him. And then they all say, okay, we cool. So let's touch on him and Monet, and then him and the kids. E, what do you think about that whole part?
Yo, Monet, like I said again, Monet is like super powerful, man. Super level powerful. And she gets through everybody's chinks in their armor. Like, if you think about it, she knew how to trick Lorenzo up into getting into her plan because he's loyal. He goes by families before everything. And him living by that, right in for her plan. Easy. He's down. Whatever. He's gonna ride. I respect what Diana do actually, because she challenged Monet, and I know she messed a lot of stuff up, but we wanted to see it anyway as the viewers. So she on our team. So I definitely respect that. She's loyal to the soil. I am mad she's nosy though. She a little too nosy. But I guess
get to that.
She nosy. So what?
So yeah, Michelle, that part, Lorenzo's part, him and Monet and him and the kids. So you felt about that whole setup there?
I think in that particular scene, it really showed us that Lorenzo took the back seat and trusted Monet. Because when he first got home, he was like, "I'm home. This is my show. I'm running this shit." And situation is do or die. And he did remember he was like, no, I'm gonna be the one to kill Mecca. It's gonna be me.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, we gotta let Cain do it. This is how we gonna do it. So in that sense, he took the back seat. It's like, all right, this your plan. We gonna work it. And remember, like you said, he brought it to Drew and Cain. I mean, he brought it to Drew and Diana and said, all right, this is what your mom wanna do. This is what we gonna do to make it happen. Now with Diana, yeah, she's nosy, but every one of the kids plays a part. So Cain, he the hitman. Drew's the
Right.
thinker. Diana is the thinker, but she's more exploratory than the other two are. You
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
so she serves a purpose. Now, granted, her knowing what she knew kind of fooled the whole thing from the from that point on.
Mm-hmm.
But she, she's necessary. Let's just say that.
Yeah. That's what I feel.
Yeah,
Well,
she's annoying, but she's necessary.
speaking of her, after, and I kind of skipped over one part, was the Cain and Monet, because that was before that. And I mean, I'm sorry, Tariq and Monet inside the church. I guess they meet all over the place. These people, whatever,
Right.
like
Right.
that. But inside the church, and when he did tell her that, he told her straight up to her face. So at that time, like, yeah, I want out after this is over and stuff like that. And he told her everything. And he said, I know Dante Spears. I seen the bag. I seen he got already papers for you and all your kids and stuff like that. He's Zeke's pop or whatever. So I think Monet's like slightly impressed, but also like, wow, this kid be doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see, again, like he said, he told her straight up, I want to get out, and she was like, okay, after this is over, I'll let you out. So before we move forward, what do you think about that scene, Michelle? Him talking to Monet, Tariq.
When you look back to the original Power series, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And with Ghost telling everyone he wanted to get out, specifically Tasha, and she tried
Yeah.
to hold him to the fire. You kind of could make it parallel to this situation. Now Monet, she's the co-head of her family. They're always going to be a drug family so long as they stay within business. But
Right.
Tariq is like, look, I got Yaz to go look after. I want out of all this. And she's like, you know what? If we do this, then we're good. You're done. Now the question is, are they really? Well, no. We don't
Okay.
know. So,
Okay.
it puts it more in a futuristic sense. Like, all right, after Mecca is killed or Lorenzo's killed, at that point we didn't know what was going to happen. What next? How will Tariq and Monet end ties? And that's the question that we were left with after that scene.
I felt about that scene between Monet and Tariq.
Well, I definitely, like I said, I hope Tariq still watches Monet because, like I said, Monet looks like she could be cutthroat. Monet seems like she's about Monet more than even just the family. Because if you hide your firstborn like that, you really only about yourself. Because that was kind of crazy, man. So I feel
Well, what's funny? Everybody was asking people like, well, why she just ain't tell Lorenzo from the beginning? I got a kid,
right. That
He
didn't
down
make sense to
south.
me.
But then they said that she told him from the beginning she was a virgin. So once she went and she had to double down, she had to keep it going. So stuff like that. But I don't know why she did it either.
Yeah, like
so, or maybe Lorenzo just wasn't a virgin. I don't know, but that's what she did. So once she did that, she had to keep the lie alive.
Keep the lie alive, right? Keep him up. But he
It's a
looked like
family
he
of
still,
liars.
yeah. But he looked like he still fuck with her no matter what.
I mean,
You know
now,
what I mean? Yeah.
Obviously, yeah. I think at some point, and also, he was in jail doing life, so somebody's like, I don't got to tell him no more. Shit, he ain't
Right.
coming out at this point.
Okay. Now that do make sense. And he did pop up.
Yeah, out of nowhere. But
Right.
with Tariq, the next thing we do see is Tariq back to the dorm. He see Braden packing up. Like, what the hell going on? So Braden, like, yeah, my dad pulled me out of school. I got to go work in the office with them right now. I can't stay here no more, but you can still stay, whatever. They talked about it, what actually happened. Tariq mentioned and asked him, did you take, Lauren? And, Braden said, yeah, I gave her some money and sent her on her way, stuff like that. Then Cain pops in again, as always. They'll never lock their door.
Never lock that door. All the stuff they go through.
Yeah, but I guess they like we're college, man. But they ain't thinking about what they go through. So, also before that, Braden asked Tariq about the drugs being there, and Tariq figures out, Diana, she the one who used my face to get up in there and stuff like that. So then we see Cain pop in, And he subtly asked Brayton, "Did you take care of what we talked about?" Meaning killing Lauren. But
Right.
Tariq don't know what's going on. So Brayton like, "Yeah, I took care of that, but I'm out." So Brayton dips. He's done for the season at that point. Then Kane and Tariq had this conversation, and basically the point of it was Tariq really telling him, "Listen, I killed my dad. So if you kill your dad, I'm letting you know. I don't care how much of a gangster killer you are, you will never be the
Never
same
be the
again."
same. Woo.
Yeah. So Ace, you spoke already. How you feel about that scene, bro?
I love that scene because that was, I felt like that was Tariq's time to shine over Kane. Like, yeah, you the little nigga. You ain't never do this. I did this. Understand me? A piece of me, that piece of me is gone. So you want to keep messing with me? I'm gonna show you what to do.
Okay.
That's what I got from it. You get what I'm saying? That's what I got from it. Now Braden,
Yeah.
on the other hand, Braden was looking suspicious as hell, and Tariq caught on to some of that. I feel like Tariq saw some of that because the way Braden was acting, trying, especially he definitely had to cut Kane off. Kane talked too much. That's another problem. Kane talked way too much to be sitting up there. Why would he say that in front of Tariq? Knowing Tariq, you know what I mean? Tariq wasn't beat for that.
All
See,
right.
that's another thing with that guy, man. Straighten up. Surprised he's still alive.
uh, Michelle, what do you feel about the interaction with Tariq and Braden and Tariq and Kane in the room at that point?
I don't think Tariq suspects Braden of having any malicious intent towards Lauren. I don't think that he's thinking that. He knows that he left Braden in charge to handle that, and by happenstance, Lauren was killed in a car accident. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that he, knows that Effie took her, and Braden basically turned his back and said, "All right, it is what it is."
Right.
As far as Kane entering, in that moment, I really saw how Tariq's son came. You know, at the
Right.
end of the day, we know what Tariq is capable of. He killed his own dad. That's
Right.
something that Kane or Lorenzo Jr. has not done. You could kill Boo and Who or whatever, but his mom, told him Tariq killed his own dad. So you'll never have one up on him when it comes to that. And in that moment, when he turned his back and just the camera flashed his eyes, and he's thinking like, all right, well, if this nigga could do that, it's nothing for me.
Right.
But I still think in that sense he had that moral conflict because again he has that loyalty to his dad, but he also doesn't want to feel inferior to the power of Tariq either. And he knows that at the end of the day, it's either Lorenzo in his mind, because Kane didn't know the plot yet. So in his
Right.
mind, it's either Lorenzo or Mecca, and he knew that he was charged with killing his own dad, and he went to the man who's done it himself to get insight. So we see that Kane is like, all right, I'm thinking now, like I got to do it. Tariq did it, so now what? I don't want to feel like I can't do it. So I guess I got to go along with what my mom said. you know.
um, that's my brother Nate. He's playing the game. So, well, I gotta have deep, interesting deep talks when I'm trying to kill zombies and back from blood. Okay, Nate. I didn't see you hate me that much. All right, so yeah, I agree with all you guys. In that whole scene, I think Kane really didn't want to do it at the end of the day, but felt like if I don't do this, and my mom knows that Tariq did this, I will never be equal to Tariq in her eyes. At that
hmm
point, so I felt like that was part of his process too. As far as Braden is concerned, um, I feel like once Tariq did find out in the whole car accident thing, Tariq smart. Well, don't forget, and listen, Braden was the last person. He gonna that's gonna be a dangling storyline for next season, right? What actually happened to
hmm
Lauren, and
Mm.
Tariq gonna put two and two together. I feel like, and that Lauren it's either between Kane, and Brayton in his eyes, right?
Right.
He don't suspect Effie like Michelle said. He don't suspect Effie yet, but
Yeah.
he
Not
suspect.
yet. Not yet.
But
Anyway.
it's either between Kane and Brayton. And he gonna definitely come back and question Brayton about that night. I guarantee you
But
this
see,
season.
when my girl watched the
That's
show, I always watch her go like, "Ooh, she might slip up," and so I feel like if he does find out it's Effie, it's because Effie's pissed off at something he said, and she let it be known herself.
that, and I think that if he really questions Braden and gets Braden to talk, he's going to put it on Effie,
Oh
Yeah.
and then that's
yeah.
when Tariq is going to have to do what he got to do because now Effie's not only crossed on one time, she's crossed on twice.
Right.
And we know that she took Lauren, regardless of what happened to Lauren. She took Lauren because Braden was like, "Here's your bag, go," but Effie was like, "Nah, my trust is different from him." So,
Yep.
I agree. I can see Braden because Braden will give it up with a little bit of pressure. It don't take much pressure to get Braden to give it up. So I feel like he will say, "Yeah, well, listen, I took her to let her go. Effie showed up. I don't know what happened." I feel like that's exactly what he's gonna say at that point, and they're gonna come back to Effie. Now, what I want to know is how the hell does she make like a car accident? I'm like, between her and Monet, they're like super spies. I don't know how they making this shit happen and shit like.
Right.
What else? She Black Widow? I mean, how the hell she make this shit?
Yeah, she sure did.
Like a car accident, and the fact that they roll in a car accident. How does she do it? But anyway, last we saw she knocked her out, put her in the car. So,
and see, like you said, that's the lingering storyline for next season. Are they going to explore that? Is it worth building out that storyline?
Yeah.
The only one who's questioning it is Tariq.
Right. I think the cops will let it go, but I don't know. I think Jenny might question it too because she felt like she had something to do with it, which we're going to talk about now. Jenny and Sax. We'll talk about the two scenes actually. Well, no, yeah, we'll go all three. So Jenny and Sax meet up. Jenny tells Sax that Lauren Baldwin is dead. Sax, of course, at first is like he feels bad for her, buys her a drink, whatever. But then he says, "Well, it couldn't have been Tariq. Tariq had an ankle monitor on and stuff like that." And then she kind of don't like his whole tone, his whole approach to the whole thing. And he's like, as long as you, on that side, this is why we'll never be together. Because, like, I believe in justice and you just selling your soul to the devil, basically, at this point. So she kind of leaves him there. Sax then brings information to Davis. And then, they have this back and forth, really kind of almost yelling a little bit. And, Sax is upset. And Davis is like, listen, man, like, you know what you were signing up for. You know what you were getting into and stuff like that. And then he says, with Carrie, like I said before, like me and her was real close. I never would have wanted her to kill herself, stuff like that. But, I can't say it didn't happen either. And then he's like, the other part is, what about that other case? Was his brother, Redman, Rollins, I guess. And he says, he obviously didn't do it. The assailant had to be 4 inches taller than him.
Right.
That's what I knew it was Davis right there. Actually.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah. So he just keep working on it. And that's interesting too, I feel like, because, Davis is about to indicate himself by trying to get his brother off. So how do you feel about this whole thing, Michelle? Going back to Jenny and Sax with Lauren, and then Sax and Davis about Lauren and brother.
I just gotta make one point. Sax and Jenny's sex scenes are disgusting.
Disgusting. That shit look like dry bread.
But
Jenny ain't sexy like either. No.
And it be the way they breathe. They be breathing all crazy.
In that bar scene, like you said, it's the show between good versus bad. And in this case, prosecutor versus attorney. And Jenny really wants to nail Tariq down. That's what it is. And Sax, in his mind, that's where his heart and his mind is too. But he's now his defense attorney. So fast forward to when they're laying in bed, he's like, at the end of the day, I don't want to sell my soul to the devil. I'm gonna help you. And that's why I think we're going to see where Sax really digs back to the original series and this series and starts putting all that together on Tariq. Now, Jenny is going to pull out the sack and say, you know what? Maybe let's dig a little deeper into this Lauren case because she knows that may lead back to getting Tariq pinned. Because nothing else other than him, what we see in the end of the show, points Tariq to any more crimes.
Okay.
So
and about Method Man's brother and Sax getting how you thought about that whole aspect. I mean, yeah, and I'm helping him with that case.
Sax is an investigator by trade, by heart.
Right.
And I think that he was going to do his own personal digging and realize that brother had something to do with it. And that's when we're really going to see Sax jump back on the other side of the fence and pin him too. So, because he's a dirty lawyer. It is what it is. We know that. But he's doing what he has to do.
So you think Sax going to realize that it was actually Davis who did the crime and then secretly try to get him under too at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because Sax is jumping back on the other side of the fence now.
Anyway, he told Jenny.
He has no more ties to Davis. He's back with Jenny,
Yeah.
So I think that's where they're going to take that storyline.
Again, even though their sex scenes are trash, Sax jumping back on the side it showed you again the power of the PUSSY. Sax was like, "Listen,
That's
man,
terrible.
I got
Yeah.
what I gotta do to get back with you." Stuff like that. But anyway, how you felt about the whole thing? Jenny and Sax in the bar, and then Sax and Davis, bro.
I like see, I don't like Sax at all, man. Sax is always up to no good, always trying to do something, always trying to get somebody pinned, booked, you know the shit. But
Right.
the conversation he was telling her, like I like how he told her like he almost killed himself
Yeah.
messing with ghosts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ruined his career trying to get that man. Ruined his credibility in his career trying to get that man. And he's telling her, like, you're looking like you about to do the same thing with Tariq. You might as well let that go, let that be. And she, she got a cob stuck up her ass because she wasn't even budging. Like she's still on it. You could tell she's still on it. She should have took
Okay.
that advice.
Okay. What about Davis and Sax, and then talking about the same thing, Lauren death, and then talking about him working on a case for his brother. So.
All right. So with Lauren's death, the Meth ain't know, right? Method Man ain't know until
No, Sax
Sax,
told him. Yeah.
yeah, until Sax told him, right? Yeah. And for him, he usually have his ears to the streets. But yeah, no, I'm surprised nobody knew. That never came up. It wasn't in the paper or nothing. Like I'm shocked that nobody like knew what was going on with that. And that
Bro, it's New York City. Like that's 100 deaths in the paper, like every day. Like,
yeah. See now, you know what? I'm not thinking like that. All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
you're right. And now that Sax, I feel like if Sax goes to deals with the case with his brother, he is gonna find out it's meth. He already is suspicious of meth anyway, and I don't know. And why would meth hire somebody to dig like that,
That's the part
knowing
that get me. Like,
Control.
yeah,
Control. He had to hire Sex because he controls them.
right,
yeah,
but he's saying, why would he have
on
dig
his
in the case
case, on
that
the case,
he's
like yeah, on the case
implicated
that's
in? Yeah.
Control.
Okay.
He controls. He controls Sex, which controls the narrative. So long as Sex works for him, and that's what he's thinking, that he can stay on top of it. Now, if Sex jumps to the other side, he has no dealings with it, and he has to lay with he has to go where the chips fall.
right.
So
That's
by him making one of his own men in charge of that case, he can have ground zero eyes on how it develops.
Ah, I got you.
okay.
So
Okay, I
he's
got
like,
you. I got you.
what you got, what you got, what you got. But no, that's your boss. You're not gonna cross your boss.
Right, right, right,
You know
right,
what I'm
right,
saying?
right. Okay. Okay, I hear you. Is somebody sleeping there in the room, one of your rooms? That's what I
No.
saw it. I said, like,
No,
no.
Mm,
I
mm,
don't know what I'm hearing right now. All
I
right.
hear it too.
Here too, like somebody snoring or something like that. What the
Hmm.
hell? What you got a man back there? Well, know about Michelle?
No.
Like on Friday, doing the background.
yeah.
um, so all right, so we get that whole part and aspect, and then from there we see like you talked about it earlier, Michelle, your boy Zeke, and he's going to see I forget the detective's name, but he go to see him, and he's just like, yo, did y'all rule Carrie a suicide? He was like, well, you found the body, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you found the body. It's a suicide ruled by the coroner. Why? You trying to tell me something different? And then Zeke is making one of those Zeke faces. I'm like, nah, I'm all right. And then he like leaves or whatever. So we'll follow that up because I just want to finish that whole aspect. Then when he calls back in there, he does see, Monet on the traffic cam. And then he's like, he lies and says, well, no, she was coming to get me, coming to see me and stuff. And then, the cop says, okay. And then, Zeke gets in his car and drives away. So before we get to Zeke's ending, let's talk about the fact that why he went there in the first place and then why he changed his mind. What do you think about that, Michelle?
We like to think that Zeke is not smart. He's
Right.
the dumb one in the family. But in this case, I think, going back to when he questioned Mecca and Monet when they were at Mecca's house, I think he knew that Monet had something to do with it. And he didn't know how, because it was ruled as a suicide, but I think he knew that she had some involvement in it. That moral complex allowed him or let him to go to the police station and ask, like, was it a suicide? And we like, I'm just checking. Again, he's still thinking that, did my mom have any real involvement in this happening to my woman? I think when he went back to the police station and when Homeboy presented him with the camera footage, is when Zeke realized Monet did that shit.
Right.
Monet did it. But we see him starting to change the narrative, and he was like, "Oh, she came to pick me up, and I changed my mind." So now, what is Zeke's thought process? Is he trying to protect Monet because he knows that there's there's footage of Monet within that area that Carrie lived at. So what's Zeke's plan here? And then when he left, that was him going off to where he went, where things went where they went. But in the back of his mind, I think he knew that Monet did that shit.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. What do you think about Zeke going the first time and kind of bringing it up to the detective, and then when the detective said I got her on the camera, him saying, well, never mind. What do you think about that whole thing? E?
I think because he really wanted to know who did it. Honestly, I think he really loved that girl. So that's what the whole his whole problem was with it. And then when he found, I felt like he kind of knew Monet did something anyway, but he wasn't sure. But when the detective showed him, he had to get up out of there because he was going to end up saying something stupid or incriminating himself or incriminating her. And he know they don't play that. That's one thing I'm
Right.
pretty sure he know they're not playing that. So yeah, he did the right move getting the hell up out of there before somebody got him saying some dumb shit. For real.
Okay. Meanwhile, we get Drew going to see Tariq and him getting the whole plan and stuff like that. And then I love the part when he said, "Where the bag?" And he said, "Same place I stole my motherfucking drugs." Shit like that. And I love that. And Drew don't know what the hell to say. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So Tariq already figured that out on him and stuff. And then Tariq said, "Man, nah, fuck all that. We're good," or whatever like that. Because at this point it's bigger than that. At this
right.
point. But he did let him know. Listen, I know though. Let you know. I'm good,
Yeah.
but I know. So that we can think twice next time. So he tells you the plan about the whole 3-car Monty, and then switching the bags out and stuff like that. But they're gonna follow the bag, and then he does tell Drew, listen, makes Diana got to be involved, but let her know, do not look in the bag, so she can have plausible deniability. But Tariq also knew what was also in the bag and told him do not look in the bag, stuff like that. So we get at which point Drew, he then does, tell Diana what she said, and same thing. And she's like, I ain't gonna look, this and the third. So
I
then
knew
we
she was
get
gonna look right there.
right. I already knew she's gonna look.
I knew she was gonna look right
No.
there.
that was like the world's biggest non-secret that she was gonna look at the bag and stuff. So after Tariq, Tariq then he meets with the lawyer, my man from the Cosby Show, Elvin. He meets with the lawyer and stuff like that, and he tells him, "Listen, you off. I mean, you got off scot free, with the case, so we can arrange for you to get Yasmin back at this point." Tariq's so happy, but meanwhile, Sax pulls up and he's telling him that Lauren is dead, and Tariq's reaction. Sax knew right away. You didn't even know nothing about this at this point. And then, Tariq, you thought I had something to do with it? He's like, I wasn't sure. Stuff like that. But now he knows. So at this next thing we see, though, is that, he's leaving. And then we get a throwback with Tasha is in the episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Tasha's in the episode. Somebody pulling up. Tasha always got the Glock.
Right.
Whatever. So Tasha got the gun.
She hiding.
Yeah. She always got the gun in the bag though. So then she hiding or whatever. It's Tamika at the door. Tamika come on. She come to the door, let her out. Yasmin is with her. Mommy. Tasha like, my son got something to do with this. Tamika saying I can't talk about it. They go back and forth, about Tariq. And then we see Tariq is actually in the car, with Sax. And he set the whole thing up, and that he can't go out there and say nothing to them. But and she got to move right away. So talk on the fact that when he found out about Lauren, finding out he can get Yasmin, to what his ultimate decision was for Yasmin. Michelle, what do you think about the whole thing? So.
That was sad. That was really sad because again, he really loved Lauren. I think he really, really loved her, and he never wanted to see her get mixed in any of his bullshit.
Right.
And he set it up for her to get away from, the power of the Tejadas, anything that may have come down on her because she wore the wire. So in that sense, he did what he did. He did what he had to do to protect her, and things fell short. And because of that, it resulted in her death. Him find out the way he did, it's circumstantial. It is what it is. But with Yaz, that scene to me actually made me tear up. I ain't gonna front.
Wow.
I wasn't a
Oh.
gangster. I wasn't a gangster in that scene. Because it just goes to show, going back to series one, Ghost or James St. Patrick was the head household. He was the man who took care of everybody. And now we see through Power Book 2, through season 1 and season 2, from a distance, it's still Tariq who's navigating his family as the man. So he did what he had to do to release himself of crimes to get Yaz back. But like you said, I'm not sure if I'm the one who could really protect her. And he knew the only other person who could was her mother. So I think him bridging that gap to get Yaz to Tasha, that, like I said, that made me cry. That made me cry. But, like I said, and of course, because they're in witness protection, he can't see her. Tasha can't see him. But that was a real power move for him to reunite his family that way.
Okay, E, did you cry too when she went back to Tasha?
No, my girl was all teary acting, teary eyed and stuff. Like, oh, yeah. At first, I didn't even know Tariq had anything to do with it, but when I seen him in the car, I was like, "Oh, my boy, okay, you pulled that off." And you got to be strong to be able to cut those ties of your mom and your sister, and you right there. I seen he almost looked like he went for the door, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sax is like you can't do that. Yeah,
yeah. I told Sax man, kiss my, you know what I mean? Because Sax always got bad news. Get out of here.
he
He always
do.
telling him something bad. Like it's always bad with Sax. As soon as he come around, I'm like, I don't even want to hear it. Get out of here. But yeah. Tariq did his thing, man. He did his thing. He showed me that he's what he's capable of. Again,
my thoughts was it kind of went in order, right? So he found out about he can have Yasmin, and then he found out Lauren's dead. So I think that made him make the decision about Yas. Like I can't keep her because of the life I live,
right?
But I don't want her with another family either. So I think he called, and it's funny too. Remember, Tamika said, "Don't call me." But he answered her phone call this time. So she answered the phone call this time. So Tamika be acting hard for no reason. Like you answer the phone call, Tamika, stop lying or whatever like that. So, and then that made him make the decision to kind of say, "All right, I want to give it to to his mother." I remember Sax always knew where she was at. He told Davis, and Davis said, "Don't." Davis said, "Don't tell him." So it kind of came full circle, and then the reuniting was good, but then we also see him ask Sax about Dante Spears or Mecca. And Sax tells him, without Dante, we probably would never got a hold of your father, about a Ghost. And he said Ghost and Angela would have never even, had what they had. So he looking at this like Dante is the real reason my family broke up. So the whole thing came full to him and stuff like that.
Full
So
circle.
that was pretty cool too. However, the fact that Dante's dead now, Sax can remember he asked me about Dante Spears, and now he's dead. So
Oh my God!
Yeah.
And then
here goes Sax again. Here
Sax remember everything, bro.
Here
Listen,
you go.
one thing about Sax, he get on my nerve. Sax be knowing his shit though.
He do. He just get on my nerves, man. I'm so mad nobody killed him yet. Like for real.
He should have been died a long time
Right,
ago.
he should have been gone.
Yeah. So anyway, shout out to Shane Johnson. That's Sax or whatever. Because I watched the interview with him. He good. But anyway, just to let you know, Michelle, he is always eating and drinking on the shows. So you watch these shows, that's all he do. Oh wow, okay. All right.
Listen, I'm cool.
You cool? All right.
Cool.
So we get that moment, a little bit of fan service, a little bit of touching moment and stuff like that. So now Yasmin's gone. Now Tariq got to go to work, right? So he gets with Kane. He done found out about the whole Lauren situation too. So he kind of like got the gun in his hand, like he might try to take Kane out and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, but they're talking about what they're about to do. They go inside, I guess at this point, was it the hangar or like one of his warehouse, I think, something like that. And then the bag is there. They follow him, and then like Mecca's crew they realize that the bag is fake. Now we got a shootout. I know E was all into this part right here.
You
And
know
then,
it.
they do kill him. Well, no, I'm sorry. Kane finds out at this moment right here. They came to kill Lorenzo. And at
Right.
this moment, Kane's like, Tariq like, no, we ain't killing Lorenzo. We told you that shit.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah,
get
we
up.
just told you that shit right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So how you felt about that whole scene, bro?
I liked it. I mean, I don't know where Tariq got assassin gun game skills at, but I liked it. But the whole time I'm like, come on, man, how he doing this? But I guess what
Yeah.
he related to ghosts, I
The
guess.
TV show, I guess.
Yeah, because he was
Suspension.
one-handed shit. He hit my man. Whoop, whoop.
Suspension of belief in that movie.
Right, there you go. There you go. Yeah, he was
But you
doing
know
good.
what else though? You realize like when Tariq went in there and was like taking out my man, stuff like that. Like before, like every time he kills somebody, it feels a little bit less and less strenuous on him, right? So he killed Ghost, then when he killed Jabari, now when he killed my man, it's like nothing to him now. So he's
Yeah,
becoming a real killer now.
yeah. Okay, I see what they're doing. All right, I get that part.
Yeah.
I understand that. I like that. Like again, that shows you how slow Kane is. Kane sitting up there, huh? What? That you not killing him? Yeah, like damn, bro, you slow, man. You slow. They already knew you was there.
I know.
The hell, man. They already knew he was there. But yeah, I love that scene, the action scene with both of them shooting and getting it in. I liked it. I liked it.
What also was good before I let you go, Michelle, was that once again, Tariq went to Lorenzo and said, I know you stole my drugs. So he letting people know, listen,
Yeah,
I know what you did. I don't care who
yeah,
you are. I know what you did.
Mhm.
And then Lorenzo said, you had that coming a long time. So it also seemed like a moment where like Lorenzo will also start to trust Tariq too, even though he never really interacted with him as well.
yep.
And then,
Right.
but go ahead. Talk about the whole shootout and him and Kane finding out, Michelle. What do you think about that?
But if you go back to remember that clip, that scene where Tariq was just about to get Yaz, and he was in the car with Monet, and he was like, "You don't even know what your whole family doing, but I know."
Yeah.
Tariq
Right.
knows how all of them move, but they
Yeah.
don't know how each other move. I just find
Yeah.
that really interesting. But again, Tariq had to play the game on Kane to keep him in line with the plan. Kane is just like you said, so absent-minded and stuck on what Tariq doing that he doesn't
Right.
see pieces moving around him. Um, to me, that was a really good scene. It really showed that, like you said, you didn't see that gun shooting coming from Tariq. Where the hell did he get that from? We ain't never seen that before, but they had to go through with it. Luckily, like Lorenzo was on game with the plan, but I think it was really good.
Yeah, I think it was too. And then from there, so now the plan's going along, with the bag and stuff like that. We get to see, like I said, Tariq and Lorenzo separate. We also see, they say, where the hell is Drew at? So Kane,
Right.
like, I know where he at. We all know where he at too, right? So Drew done went to see Everett, his boo,
Mm-hmm.
whatever like that. Yeah. So
Look at your face, E.
again, that's
My
how I feel
bad.
I almost say it on YouTube, but man, every time I feel the same way. E. Like, what the hell
Yeah.
be going on here? So, and it's always like a surprise too, man. But anyway,
Yeah, man. He just
it'd be like out of nowhere. What a guy, yo. But anyway, but he go to talk to Everett. Everett always crying, bro. So Everett, like, yeah, I know you, took my badge to get in here, and he like, how you know it was me? And he like, you sure it wasn't you? Like, you know what I mean? Then he got to go to practice and stuff like that. And then Drew like a stone cold killer now. I'm supposed to believe that. And he's like, have a nice practice. I'm like, what the
right. Yo, that's crazy. My girl
right?
said that same joke. She's
She did.
like, not sounding like that. I was like,
Right. That's what I said. So then we get these Mecca's boys rolled up on him or whatever. Drew, they start beating his ass, and they said this bag is a fake, where the real bag at. They about to take him out. Kane comes, save the day, tackles them. They beat them up, and then Drew's about to kill him. But he's like, "You're not here at the school," which was crazy to see Kane have a cooler head. Much like they switched places at that point. And then it's time I put him in the trunk. So that whole scene, and then Drew says, "Thanks for going back to you saving my life and stuff like that and whatever." So Michelle, you thought about that whole scene, Kane and Drew, and
That was crazy.
Yeah.
That see, I don't. he should have off Everett when he had the chance.
Long time ago.
Right.
He should have did it. But remember when Monet and Lorenzo was in the bed and she's like, he's always gonna choose his heart over, over doing things for the family. But he should have offed him a long time ago. I think at this point he's too deep with Everett to pull that string. But the question I asked my brother last night when he said have a good practice, did he say that because he really meant it, or did he say that to throw him off the trail that he actually used the card to do what he had to do to get the shit? So I don't know, because Drew doesn't want to be implicated in anything either. And Everett's already known to be a snitch. He's already known to be a snitch.
What is he?
Right. So Kane coming to save the day, that was amazing. He kicked the shit out of that guy. But hopefully in that moment we see that Drew and Kane's connection comes back. Because Kane was beefing with Drew. Drew was never beefing with Kane, but Kane was beefing with Drew for the last couple of episodes. So hopefully in that sense they do come back together to save the family.
Yeah, I can see that. You already talked about the scene. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, all I can say is I agree with her. I like the scene. I like to see them bond as brothers and stuff like that. I did like to see that. They tore it up. He did want to kill the guy at the school, and Kane. That's the first time Kane did have a level head. Now that I think about it, you're right. That was very smart of him.
They can't afford no more deaths at
Yeah,
that
and I was about to say,
Yeah.
as many wrongs as he's done, I'm pretty sure he learned his lesson on a couple of them, especially with the badge. He should have definitely learned his lesson with that one.
Yeah, and I think Everett going to somehow snitch again, and ultimately Drew going to kill Everett. Ultimately,
Oh yeah.
it wasn't this year.
If not somebody else's, and Drew gonna hate them.
Nah, I think Drew going to finally do it at some point. You know what I mean? I think he's going to finally say, he got to go. One of those things where like Nino Brown killing G Money. I got to kill you at this point. You know what I mean? I love you, but I got to kill you. But I guess Everett survived. Kudos to him. He had practice, whatever. So anyway, we finally get Mecca, and Mecca started to figure out. So he make a call like, "Listen, man, I think he leaves a voicemail. I think my cover is blown, stuff like that. I'm about to try to get out of here if you don't see me, blah blah blah." So then she tells Monet to hit Tariq up and say, "Come to the penthouse apartment instead of going to the hangar and stuff." So now we get So now we get Tariq going up there, and he is on the talking to the front desk guy, and Mecca's letting him in. Next thing we turn around, Monet is right there. Mecca is really, really like, "Listen, man, yeah, we tried to shoot at you. You tried to screw me. End of the day, we meant for each other. We both crazy as hell." Basically what he's saying and shit. Mm-hmm. And I said, "I want to be with you. I love you." That ain't really working. Now he like, "Listen, imagine how Zeke gonna feel if you kill his dad. He just found out about." And then she like, "Listen, forget you." As Tariq's coming in, shots go off, and then Mecca is actually dead. So Michelle, how'd you feel about that scene and Mecca actually being killed off? Or did you expect him to be killed off this episode?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I did too.
Because at the end of the day, Monet has always been down for her family. Her family is Lorenzo, Drew, Diana, Kane, and Zeke. Mm-hmm. That's her family. I don't think at any point she was really going to go off to be with Mecca. Mm-hmm. And like she said in the beginning of the plan, I have to be the one to kill him. That's my baby daddy. I gotta be the one to kill him. Expect it to happen that fast. I thought he was gonna exchange some words with Tariq, but as soon as he hop off the elevator, boom, it was right then and there.
Right then and there. So,
I want you to ask the next question because that's what really got me. Come back after that.
Me too. That's what I'm waiting for. But yeah, she got me hyped for that. But yeah, man, I wasn't expecting Mecca to go out like that, man. Being ex-military, I thought he was going to give him more of a problem than that. Like she straight up headshot drop, you're done. For real, he looked like rabbit food laying down there. He was done. There was no more. That's it. That's the. I felt like they were setting up a big bad, and then they just was like, nah, get rid of him. Monet's the big bad.
At the end of the day, though, Monet is the big bad, though, right? Like she's the one you really gotta watch out for. You know what I'm saying?
Monet's the big bad.
Monet is the big bad.
He's the king to everybody else. Untouchable. Couldn't do anything to him. When it came to Monet, and then we saw when it came to Tariq, people who had real power over him, he always crumbled. Always crumbled. He was never going to do anything to Monet. He really loved her, but she knew what she had to do to commit to the family.
Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, he was snitch anyway, right? So you know what
Yeah.
happened to snitches. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
You the OG of global snitching.
Global. Shit.
global.
Lobos. Ghosts. Like,
Yeah,
damn.
yeah. And then we see Tariq comes to wipe the cameras down. We said Effie taught him how to do, so they kind of put that together well too. And then we see Drew and I don't know, was it Drew? I think they got home, and then Diana was telling Poppy, you know, that she had the bag. She got the bag, and he says, what was in the bag? She's like, I ain't looking in the bag, and clearly she's lying. Like she's the worst to try to keep these lies.
Right. He looked at her again.
Like, come on, Diana. Yeah, what was in the bag? And she's like,
I don't want to be a snitch.
Right. I don't want to be a snitch. I don't want to be a snitch. However, let me tell you what's in that bag. So she says, you know, I saw the documents that, you know, it was passports and paperwork for all of us and Monet, you know, and money set up for us, you know, down the line with Mecca, blah, 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 to the third. And that's all I saw. Of course, Lorenzo gets pissed off and he dips out. Even though Monet already told him, I got Mecca. He goes to the hangar, you know, where the plane's about to take off. And then we got to follow Zeke now from the police station. And now Zeke goes there as Mecca's looking from a distance. Lorenzo, he was like, Mecca, I got you. You know what I mean? So that's what he was saying or whatever. And then so Zeke got the hoodie on and everything, right? So he walking up on the plane. And then Lorenzo just start bucking. And then, you know, you see Zeke fall down. At the end of the day, we can spill the fact that Zeke is dead. So how y'all felt about that, how it went down, starting from Diana snitching to Lorenzo killing Zeke. What do you thought about that, Michelle? You and I talking about this stuff. So.
We all knew she was going to look in the bag. The minute Tariq initially said it, when he told Drew, whatever you do, do not let Diana look in the bag. And then Drew was about to leave, and he turned around and said, remember, don't look in the bag. We knew from there she was going to, because that's her whole MO. She goes and gets the background information for everybody on everything. Mm-hmm. And she needed to know what was in that bag, because in her mind, that's what she does for her family. Mm-hmm. So in a sense, Poppy gave her that permission to like tell him, like, look, you're not a snitch. It is what it is. What's in that bag? And when he found out that Mecca had all the information and stuff for them to leave, he was like, nah, I gotta go get this nigga. So, you know, going to the hangar, question is how he knew where the hangar was, but going to the hangar,
right.
And going to the hangar.
Oh, snap. Yeah.
Thinking that he saw Mecca. To me, you know, knowing how she's operating, he shot him in the back from a distance. That was corny to me, because he had no clarification that was Mecca. Mm-hmm. You know, man for man, approach him and then handle business. But, you know, sad to say, R.I.P. Zeke.
Yeah. Well, I'll get to that later on. I'm a nice question about that whole switch. But how you felt about that whole scene?
Like she said, I agree about Diana. I knew Diana was going to hold it down for Poppy and let him know exactly what was in there. And from his point of view, it do sound crazy. Like, what? Wait, what? Oh, she talking about she got Mecca. She ain't got Mecca. They about to get on that jet and fly off, and then take the kids. I'm in this right now. I'm gonna go in this right now. Only way I'm thinking he knows the hangar is from. Did they have any transactions there before to pick up stuff?
I don't think so.
Or when
mean, they could have, but off screen, but I don't remember. I don't see them seeing any at all.
All right.
She's right. Yeah, she's right about that. Yeah.
All right. But then, Zeke gets out the car looking dumb, and he died looking dumb. Like that's crazy. Shot in the back, then shaking down the steps like that. Like, damn, he was looking.
I thought it was gonna be like, he got shot and it took out. He can't play ball no more ever. So I thought it would be something like that, but
they took out the whole bloodline in one episode.
Yeah,
they destroyed the bloodline in one episode, bro.
Yeah, they killed him. So anyway, Monique come back home. Now Lorenzo looking all suspicious and shit. You know what I mean?
He's like,
right. It's crazy because This the first time I ever seen Lorenzo look a little like scared or weak.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
accident like that. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to suspicious of shit, and they see the news that Dante Spears is dead. Blah 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 blah. So they like it all worked. Then the third, and Monet trying to hit Zeke up. Zeke ain't answering the phone and stuff. So then we get I'm sorry. Let me back up. So before we get to that. When Tariq did wipe the cameras, Monet said, "All right, so you out there, right?" And Tariq was like, "Nah, I'm gonna stay in for a while." So I thought that was cool too. Go ahead.
Remember when
Michelle.
he said that because Dante owed him the $2 million. So now he has to hustle to get that money because he didn't get it from Dante.
Right.
Yeah, but here's my question though. Here's my question though. Does he have to stay in because Yaz with the mob now? He don't have no lawyer fees. Why can't he just go to school and get his money? He don't need no money. Right, he's one of the
right. That makes sense. Right.
Yeah, I think him and Braden are the same. Like where that adrenaline is there, they just want to keep going with it, stuff like that. At the moment, right now, Tariq don't need to stay in. I feel like, what I mean? And Michelle froze on us. Michelle, if you hear you froze, you see it? Oh, there she goes. She's back. All right, cool.
I'm back. Can you see me?
Oh, yeah, we can see you now. Yeah, you had this like weird smile frozen for a second or whatever, but it was cool. So then, but like I said, in the house, that happens. Then we see them at the table, having one of their family dinners. She knows Zeke is there. Then she gets the call from the detective. Ezekiel Cross is dead. So how do y'all feel like this will play into next season, as far as like her with Lorenzo, or even her pain from losing Zeke? Michelle, how you feel? What do you think about that?
I think it's gonna pick up exactly from this moment. Okay. I don't think it's going to jump too far into the future. I think it's going to pick up from this moment, and Monet is going to want to know who, what, when, where, why, and how. Mm-hmm. Because it's the secret is out. So that's their brother, not their cousin, and then that's her son, not her nephew. So it caught everybody by blindside. And the only person in that room who knows the truth is Lorenzo. Mm-hmm. Is he going to come forward?
Yeah, I mean, he already looked like he coming for it. He acting way more different than he ever has acted before. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like he trying to hype himself up now because he know he's going to have to kill her.
I don't think he have to kill her, but
he's going to have to kill her.
Here's what I think. I think she's going to think that he knew he was killing Zeke when she found out, because Zeke was not a child of his. And remember, if you go back, he ain't never really liked Zeke. From the beginning. And even when Zeke came to the house, he was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. You are her nephew." Had him patted down and everything. So I feel like she's gonna feel like you didn't think it was Mecca. You wouldn't have killed my nephew. But we'll go ahead, Michelle.
If he tells, because remember, he was home. So the only person who knows that he left the house was Diana.
Well, she's gonna tell.
She telling.
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell her nothing. Like
Diana telling.
I think he's gonna take his involvement as far as he can, and I think the next motion to kill will be Monet to put a hit out on Lorenzo.
Right. Okay.
Because she's the real kingpin of the family. Lorenzo, he was in jail for it, so he got out and he tried to come back, and that's where I think we all thought it was going to go, with her putting a hit out on him. But I think that's where it's going to go next season. She's gonna get rid of him.
Then we get a small scene with Effie and Tariq. And Tariq, tell her you can always, come to Stansfield. They got a good robotics program, and her thinking about it. So I think we're going to see Effie move to Stansfield, next year. And that should maybe play out between her and Diana, because Diana's still thirsty for Tariq at the same time, even though Lauren's gone now. And then we get another throwback. So we get them in Dante's house. So his person who he was talking to was Blanca from Power Book 1. Yeah, from last season, stuff like that. And she said, "Damn, Dante, why you ain't calling me beforehand?" Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
She get the still photo, and she know right away it's Tariq St. Patrick. But she says, "We'll meet again," or whatever.
We meet again, Tariq. Right.
Now, I've been read that she's coming back next season, as a cast member. So, how is this going to play out, Michelle?
Tariq wanted to get out, but now he can't.
Yeah, he's going to need it.
He's tired. He's tired. They're going to investigate, of course, Dante's death, because he was a criminal informant and his cover was blown. But Tariq is tied to that.
Yep.
The question is, how is he going to get off? And that's why I think he's going to need a lawyer again. So.
At the
She's
end of the
right.
day,
You
though,
know
he did,
about
at the end of the day, he didn't do it though. Actually, he wasn't even there when it got done.
by him pulling the tapes, there's no timestamp between the time he left the lobby to the time he got to the actual penthouse. So
Right.
Understand?
there's no telling, if he had any involvement in that anyway. But
Yep.
Blanca being Blanca, she gonna try to pull something together because we
Yeah,
know how she works
Yeah,
I
I
herself.
about to
never
say
liked
I
her.
don't like her. I do not
Lately,
like her.
I ain't like her either.
Hopefully she gets smoked. That's why they brought her back. Good.
She was like a fake ass Angela to me. Like I never
Right,
liked Blanca.
right. That's exactly who she
They
reminded me
said
of.
she had a CI and it came full circle tonight.
Yep.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Um, and then and that's pretty much it. So that was Power Book 2. Go see it series finale. Um, how would you? We'd like to rate the shows here. Just let you know, Michelle. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you give? What would you rate this episode finale and this season? What would you say?
All right. So this episode, I would rate. I'm gonna give it an 8 because I wanted Dante to put up a bigger fight. But other than that, it was good. It was definitely good, especially with Lorenzo crazy ass at the hanger. he put Zeke down. Like damn. But yeah. Um, and overall, for real, I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay.
It shocked me. I think because at first it was slow, so I was like, man, Tariq ain't got it. Tariq ain't got it. 50 fell off, but no, he did
Wow.
good. Yeah.
And Michelle, how would you rate this episode and then the series? I mean the season, I would say. So,
This episode, I'll probably give it an 8 too.
okay.
And that's because it was a slow build to the actual action. I felt like all the other scenes and development was necessary, but it took them a while to get to the actual plot of
Right.
of the killings. As far as the season, I give it a good 9.5, 10.
Oh
You know
wow.
how I felt in the very beginning, like it was
Yeah.
slow, it wasn't
Yeah.
moving. I
Yeah.
stopped watching for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and then something was like, get back into this, and I did. It just took off from there. So
Yep.
I definitely do appreciate the writers and how they took their time to develop, Tariq from where he was in the original series throughout season one into this season. They did a really good job in developing his character.
They did because I remember like nobody was like, I don't want to see no Tariq show. I don't even like Tariq. I remember that. Like what
Yeah.
was on? Now you're like, yo,
And
I gotta
see,
go ahead, go ahead.
them taking Tasha away really allowed him to
To
become a
grow.
man,
Right.
to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
he was still, mommy, help me, help me, help me. I'm here to
Yeah, he
protect my
was.
mom. But her being withdrawn from the, actual screenplay and being tucked away into witness protection allowed him to turn that man thought on and start thinking for himself and Gas to get him out of his situation and to protect her at the same time. So I think they did a really good job.
All right, and I'm gonna go with a 8 for this episode. There were some things that just kind of um happen a little fast for me. Sometimes I hate when shows like got so much to wrap up in the season finale. They got
Yeah.
like move fast with certain things. And then as far as the series, I'm gonna go with a solid 9 too. Man, I was engrossed every week. They really didn't have a
Mhm.
lot of down episodes. That again, they had that why did I get married dinner table scene with Diana. That like cracked the internet. That like was amazing. So I'm gonna give it a great 9. So that's Ed of Power, book 2 episode book 2 for season number 2. Now I don't want to really go on scene by scene for book 4 because it wasn't really a lot. We don't even know the characters yet, so we don't really have a
Right.
really good understanding of each character as well as any emotion towards each character yet. But just watching that episode, let me start with Michelle. Like, how did you feel about the first episode of book 4, and what is it? I guess kind of what kind of feel did it give you for what the series is going to be, or at least this season, stuff like that.
Tommy is going to come into his own. We know Tommy to be associated with ghosts in that whole world. But now we see Tommy, he's left New York, he's making his way west, and we get to see how he develops into his own gangster. Um, I think in this particular episode, it kind of moved through the trajectory pretty fast because it's like, damn, you just got to town, you already causing trouble, causing trouble, having sex, just meeting brand new people, and whatnot. But him And then the development of Diamond's character, I think we're going to see a lot transact in the next couple episodes.
Yeah, I agree. And also we did we did get a revelation that Tommy's got a black brother.
Right, I
Apparently,
like that.
Right.
and Kate was out here being a little hoe, and then leaving her son. Like Kate's horrible.
Horrible,
Like,
man, horrible.
yeah. But hey, we think about the episode so far, and we look forward to it in the series. For book
Man,
4.
I loved it. I loved the episode. So far, for me, I enjoy it. It lets me see just how much Tommy, he's a beast. Like it shows you how much of a beast he really is. How you can go to another city and start cutting up just like that. Don't know who's who, don't care, but you cutting up anyway. And you're making valid points as you're cutting up. But also with what was the part I liked? Oh, with Ghost. Like I never see nobody mourn for Ghost like Tommy did when he was in the car and he had to let that scream out. Like that was real. I felt that pain. As soon as he did that, I was like, "Yup, that's how I felt when Ghost was gone."
When
That's
he
my
let that
boy.
scream out, and then that face afterwards was like, "All right, it's go time now."
Yeah, it's
After all
go
the
right.
pain out.
I ain't playing no more. I have no more attachments. It's on. All my attachments are dead. It's on now.
He might be building a new one though with that chick or whatever, this bartender lady or whatnot. So we'll see.
Yeah, Tommy do be falling in love.
He do
He do
fall in love. I thought it was good. It's crazy because you could tell like it's a whole different series than any of the other series. You know what I
It
mean? Like
is.
even like the Chicago Mafia dudes, like
Yep.
you could tell like, they're a little different type of big bad, I guess you could say. But also I felt like, between watching it took me back to Power a little bit because Power, especially in the beginning, it was so adult. Because
Right.
when Tariq and Rana were like little and the Yasmin was a baby, you barely ever saw them that much. So it was
Mm-hmm.
more adult. And you had stuff with the Lobos and Ghosts and yada yada yada. So when you watch book 2, it's a lot of kids, right? All the Sahadas and Tariq and Braden and everybody else. And then even when you watch Kanan, they definitely kids. They younger than them.
Yeah, they
Stuff
kids,
like
right?
that,
Yeah.
right? So you got Kanan and Jukebox and all them. And then even in BMF, they only in high school. It's like 2. Whatever, like
Oh,
you don't see it. Like he talking to high school recruiters, so they really kids too. What I mean by kids, mean that they still living with their mom and dad. They
yeah.
got they trying to hide what they're doing. But this ain't no kids in this show. It's all adults, all straight up grown people doing grown people things. So I feel like we could get like a different vibe already. So I'm looking forward to seeing like what's going to happen moving forward and stuff. And I feel like Tommy will be. I hope they give Tommy. I mean, I know he's a ruthless killer, sociopath at the end of the day, but also want him to be like more thinking as well. How to move up, not just kind of like to get money. But I think that I would love to see him and, like you said, Diamond have some kind of like togetherness against them rather than be apart, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I thought it's pretty cool. But go ahead, Michelle.
I think that's what it's building to.
Yeah.
Because if Tommy's going to continue his relationship with Gloria has already promised to Vic. But Vic's dad doesn't like Gloria. He doesn't want him to be with her. So if Tommy stays down that line and Vic finds out, that's a feud right there by itself. But I guess I agree with you when you say like there's no kids involved. We're seeing grown men fighting grown men. It has that grunge feeling that it had back to the original in the beginning of the original series. So this is going to develop for Tommy to settle his roots in Chicago, and I want to see him move further west to California with Rodolfo. That's what I really want to see. But will he get there? He already told Rodolfo fuck off. So what? But will he get there or not?
Yeah, I don't know. But and also see the whole thing with the kids and the dad. I guess we lost Eve, but it's so cool. It's all good. The kids and the dad. I think they're really gonna try. That's the other part of it. They're trying to take his spot, really, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The brother and sister. So that's like a whole nother side story we got going on. We got lesbian sex happening this episode. There's a whole lot of stuff.
Right? I'm like, wow, this is a lot.
Yeah, finger bang gang going on or something like that. Yeah, you good? E?
Yeah, I'm good.
I was talking about the lesbian finger bang that we saw in this episode and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Woo!
Said,
there was a lot going on. It was a lot of nipples. It was a lot of nipples going around.
I was like, what?
This episode.
Yeah. But you know, I don't want, like I said, I don't have any like. I mean, I love Tommy. I can't wait to watch this show. I don't have that much emotion yet towards it, but I know it'll grow, just like Tariq did, Kenan did, all the rest of them. But just as an overview, how would you rate what you saw so far, Michelle, on a 1 through 10?
I would say about a 7 because there's still more to come.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah,
gonna say
We
that.
know Tommy from New York, but who is Tommy going to be by himself, holding himself down? What kind of gangster is that going to turn into? Is he? Remember, he threw away the phone number for his brother, and then he picked it back out the trash can. So are
yeah.
we going to see him build that relationship up? You know, is he going
I
to
think
have
he
any more
will.
ties to his grandmother? And then what is going to be? What is going to be his involvement with Vic and his sister and their dad? So it's a
Hmm.
lot. It's a lot to come. A lot more to come that I'm interested in watching.
Yeah, and also I already like the one guy who I guess like the right hand man for the dad or whatever, the older dude. I like his
Mm-hmm.
demeanor and how he presents things and stuff like that. So I kind of think he's gonna be interesting as well.
He's to me, he gives like the babysitter vibe over Vic.
Yeah, a little bit.
Vic kind of is like Kane, like hot headed. I'm ready to go when you ready to go. And then
Right.
that guy, I don't know his name, but that guy is kind of like the level head one, like slow your roll, young butt. Let me come talk to him real quick to see what
Yeah,
it really is. So because at the end of the day, their drug business is a front. Their big business is a front for the drug business,
right.
and they don't want Vic out here doing stupid shit that's going to bring any attraction to the big business. So
Yeah,
that older gentleman is necessary because Vic is a pop off.
yeah. And then we also saw, I guess the who's gonna be probably the antagonizing cop, the black guy came in the barbershop and stuff like that too. So I think that's gonna be like a
Yeah,
lead into
Yeah,
another
that was a
story.
weird cop move. What he was doing, that was weird as hell. I'd have
that
kicked
was a
him
weird
out.
scene.
Right? Yeah.
It
Get
was a
out.
weird scene.
That was
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, definitely. And it's weird too. So I guess the barbershop in front for the drug business is gonna be too for them on the side a little bit. Because
Ah, okay.
it seemed like
Okay.
Diamond really want to cut hair though. He's like, I want to cut some hair. But also he wants
Right.
to be in the game.
I th-
So
he looked like he's gonna get pulled back in though, like because he said he don't want to kill and all that stuff. And I feel like people gonna push him to the edge.
how you like his brother, Diamond's brother, the little brother? What do you think about his character so far?
He got to be tough because he had a cauliflower ear.
He did.
Yeah, you got a cauliflower ear. You do it mixed martial arts. So
Or
I know he
wrestling,
know
yeah.
how to. He know how to fight.
Yeah.
I didn't peep that.
Yeah.
He did, yeah. On his left ear,
Yeah.
actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But how'd you feel about his character so far? Well, Michelle, the brother.
Definitely smart, especially we saw that in the warehouse scene.
Yeah.
So but it's just like the good and the bad. He's doing what he got to do in the streets, and Diamond's like he let it know from the jump when they were in the barbershop. Thank you for this business. I don't want no parts. So the brother was like, "Nah, this is what we're gonna do, but I'll let you have your piece right now." So
Right.
I think he's going to be the one to really develop more with Tommy, and then Diamond's going to come in as a background behind that.
Okay.
Okay.
So
That's definitely a good theory. All right. Well, like I said, we want to wrap it up. Thank you guys for being on the show. Of course, thank you guys for watching, being in the comments as well. Always like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Cinema Crew Point of View. We got plenty of things to talk about. We'll be back every week to talk about Power Book 4 with Tommy. Michelle, as your first podcast, how did it feel? Was it okay?
natural,
Good, good,
natural.
good. This happened for E about a few months ago, so I had to ask you
Right.
like that. So yeah, I'm bringing people together. I love it. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. All right, I'm in the
Thanks, E.
broadcast.